As you all know, vision is basically a long-term view of where we want to go. So that's a simple, that's what item is, not a definition. That's what I see it as. So in most of the interviews you would have attended or you're going to attend, one of the favorite questions would be, where would you like to see yourself in the next 5 years? I hate that question though anyway, but that's some of the things which most interviewers would like to ask you. So be prepared to come up with your own answer for that. I'm not going to have an answer for that question, but I'm going to give you an answer in terms of the vision for your product, for our product, what we have actually trying to take as an example. I think you all remember what we're trying to build in the last few weeks. We're trying to build an e-commerce website for selling mobile accessories, right? So the mobile cases and the screen protectors and so on and so forth. So we're going to sell this online. That's the project that we have started to work on, let's say. So how would you see yourself in the next 5 years if somebody asks you? So the vision for that project would be, perhaps I would say that to be the leading platform for the people, both B2B and B2C in that space, perhaps a competition to Amazon or something like that, right? So that's how we can define the vision for that. So in terms of vision, you need to understand it. It's strategic. It's not technical. It's not going to be technology driven. It's not going to be driven by the tools. It's not the implementation. It's the vision. It's a strategic aspect of it. It's a definitely, that means it's a long-term vision. It's not going to be a vision is not about what you want to be tomorrow. It's about, if you ask somebody, like for example, if I ask my own kids, my daughter or my son, who are still young, if I ask you what do you want to be, they'll say that I want to be an engineer, I want to be an astronaut, right? So that is not going to happen today, that's not going to happen tomorrow, that's going to happen in a few years time. And they know that it's a journey, right? So that's exactly what vision is. It's all right, you don't have to be crystal clear what you want to do tomorrow, what are you going to work on the next week, that's fine, but it's a rough indication of where you want to go in the next few years. Roughly it's about 3 to 5 years, and then from there comes the tactical aspect of, okay, if you want to go in this way, you want to have the leading website for selling mobile accessories in the next 2 to 3 years, then what do you need to have? You need to have at least a website. You need to have at least a website, and you need to deploy it, and you should have at least a few thousands and a few millions of customers, for example, like Amazon, Alibaba, eBay, Flipkart. They're all there, right? So you're talking about having a web presence because that's what people have, and also having a mobile app so that people can start using, because mobiles have got the penetration across the spectra now. So you're now talking tactical. So you need to have what? A website. You need to have a mobile app. You need to have a web app or a website, and you should at least have your presence in a few populous countries. So you're talking about US, Europe, UK, UAE, India, China. So you're talking about something really that must be done in the next year or so, right? That's tactical goal. And the operational goal of that is basically what you're going to do to achieve that. In order to do that, that is the operational aspect of what you're going to do in the next few weeks and next few months, right? That's what sprint goal is all about. And so we're now talking about this vision getting translated into reality. That's what is basically how we need to progress with our product development as well. And we have discussed that in detail in the agile course as well on Thursday and Friday, about how this all translates into defining the product roadmap and so on and so forth. So this could be a product, it could be your own life goal, it could be your career aspects, it could be something that you wanted to do as a hobby. For example, I wanted to to have a black belt in Tang Soo Do, or a martial art, Korean martial art. I cannot do that in a day. I can never do that in a month or a day or a year. I had actually spent 7 years to get to that. I'm a black belt in that. I'm proud to say that. But it won't happen in a day's time or a month's time, right? So you first start off with your white belt, then after white belt, then for about a good few months, you get your yellow tag, then the yellow belt, then orange, then so on and so forth. After about 5 years, you're getting to the red belt, then the black belt is there. So you're talking about a good 7 years. Exactly the same with vision. Something cannot be done in Rome is not built in a day. right? So also this. So for example, sometimes you do not have a clear picture of where you want to be or what you want to be and where you want to go. In that case, this is an example of one of the live projects that I did with a client sometime a few years ago. So uh, obviously, I'm not going to actually disclose any confidential or client related information, so that is fine. We are just talking about this evolution of my journey, because I did everything from the ground up, working with the client in terms of discovering the vision, conducting the stakeholder interviews, understanding what is in their minds, their expectations of this product, this platform. So I think that should be fine. We're in good position. We're not divulging any confidential information here. So when we talked about this platform, the code name for this platform was called Total View. So that's what we are going to discuss as a case study later as well. So this Total View is basically this. This is a client based in the UK, just a few miles away from where I live in London. And then they're into the business of maintenance of your gardens and maintenance of huge stores like Tesco, Sainsbury's, and railway stations, train stations, railway stations, and then some of these big, huge job centers and things, government offices, uh, DW, and all these law firms and stuff like that. So basically, all the maintenance of these offices, the stores, the stations, the bus stations, and all these are being maintained by contractors who work independently, and this company actually kind of gets into the contracts with these big customers across the UK. So now they want to actually build a platform which is offering a digital view to their customers in terms of what is the work done, how much of work has been done, what is the plan, and view some of the photos and some of the evidence for this work. So when we initially started, they wanted to have this platform, but they did not quite have an idea how that should be, what it should be. So that was my role as a business analyst. I did a bit of product management, product owner, and then worked on this. We actually delivered this huge platform after about a good few iterations. So in the context of this particular product, the platform, I'm actually going to walk you through my journey, how I went about doing this and discovering. This is called a discovery phase. So discovering and exploring the options with respect to what the stakeholders really want out of this platform. So sometimes the reason why I put this one even before I explained everything was because I wanted to let you know that sometimes the vision need not be crystal clear. We don't have to have that 2020 vision in our eyes all the time, like in the context of real life. So somebody have got 20 by 20, somebody have got different views. So what is important for us is to have some hazy picture of where we want to be in the next year, 2 years, 5 years. And in this context, when I ask these stakeholders from operations, from technology, from business, from customer service, from marketing, key account management, they're different stakeholders, different people, different teams. So when I interviewed them and try and understood what is it that they really expect out of this platform, some of the people said that, gave an example, because they said they want to be something like that, or they don't want to be like that. So for example, how not to do customer service. This is not actual reality, but this was what was told by one customer. Please do not think that O2 is bad. So this was what was one person's view of how not to do customer service. So what this platform that we're building should not be is like this. And similarly, one other example that another stakeholder said was we should have something like a Barbour, which is a very huge brand. They've got this fantastic apparel. So great at customer service, quick and easy after sale service. So they're talking about how beautifully approachable and accessible their customer service team is, and how beautifully they do the service aspect of it. Very reachable, very approachable, very talkative, friendly service and all that. So that aspect they want to actually bring into the platform. And somebody else said it should be like Google, very simple and easy to use. So we discussed this in the last few weeks. Google actually simplified the way the search function was actually simplified. Till then, everybody was browsing, clicking, and taking about 10 steps to reach to a particular stage. Google came in, and then they actually kind of introduced a newer way of doing and thinking into the customers' minds and hands. So they actually brought this search-friendly, search-intensive, search-focused interfaces. So that's where Now we are not really going to, click into the books and then hard books and then this and then so. We're not doing that click, click, click now anymore. We're actually going straight into that search box and then we're entering the stuff, right? So habits and behaviors also changed with Google. So that's a beautiful example of how simplicity is key to the success of a product development. Similarly, Amazon, BMW. So let's not go into each of these, but basically this is the kind of vision. This is the kind of the place where they want to go with respect to their product and the platform that we were to develop at that point of time. So that's what we call as benchmarking in that context. So these are benchmarking in that sense. So somebody would like to benchmark with Boeing, somebody would like to benchmark with McDonald's. It really depends. So this is another example of another project that I did with a different client. They want to build a platform which is into serving the content for the universities. And so what is this product? If you ask me as a vision, as a very 30,000 feet view of this, so this is what they've got to say. It should be a repository of content. So it should be a single repository of the content. Nowadays, they've got so many Excel files. They've got some in PowerPoint presentations, some in a database, Access database, some in SQL database. They want to actually integrate all of them into one unified repository, and that's the vision for this product. That's the platform, right? And then they actually are talking about how they would like to have it as a single place for data deposition, collaboration. So you've got all the librarians, the professors, the researchers coming into and then collaborate to create the research output and the outcomes from the research. So the curate and innovation and how it could really help. Again, it's a single place. It's like a single platform, like how you've got eBay and Amazon as platforms for both buyers and sellers. So you actually kind of brought the platform level playing field for the buyers as well as sellers. So you're bringing in both the parties and trying to help them with this, offering the single platform. And that's what even this one is trying to offer, the platform that we were trying to build. Knowledge exchange, trying to actually act as a broker and actually work across different knowledge streams and trying to help with scientific data. So here we are talking about the different products, services, platforms. So you get an idea where I'm going with the vision. The examples I'm trying to give you is actually to set a kind of an indication and give an indication in terms of what vision could be for in our own terms in the product development parlance. It need not be crystal clear specification of requirements, but a vision could actually kind of give you an indication of where you want to go. It could be really very high level, very woolly kind of a thing, as they say, BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. It could be something like that. I want to be the best leader. Like, for example, when Tesla was first started, Elon Musk would have actually thought about it and said that, what, I'm actually going to compete with all these Fords and the GMs and the Audis of the world, and I'm actually coming up with a product, with a car which doesn't run on petrol like all of these others. So it's basically electric car, the first electric car that can run on its own without the need for a driver, autopilot. So basically that's the whole vision of Elon Musk, perhaps about 8-10 years ago. And that simple idea of his actually translated that into a product, and you can actually see Tesla in a Model X or Model 3 and all those on the road. So that's how the vision starts. That's how the whole, any product, any big platform, any huge initiative, the first step is always that. It's as simple as that. So when we talk about vision, it could be really very high level, very woolly. You want to be the best, be the leader in this, or beat the market, or come up with something else which we call as disruption. So that's where some of these cryptocurrencies, they disrupted the way the banking industry works. The traditional currency, you've got this traditional currency and the derivatives and all these kind of instruments, money instruments. But here comes the Bitcoin, which is the first virtual currency where there's you can't see, you can't have kind of feel that the note of that, or the financial note of that. It's basically virtual. And then they have removed the intermediaries. They made sure that it's just journal entries, and then that's where they use the blockchain technology to make sure that the entries or the transactions are done on both ends, so it's actually still valid. So they came up with this, again, disrupted the market. So they would have thought that, like, I'm going to disrupt. The vision for that Bitcoin would have been that I want to disrupt, I want to come up with an alternative currency which people can use without having to rely on the traditional dependencies and traditional ways of doing that, the currency exchange. So for this product, again, I want to actually bring back to you the example that I've worked on. They said that the platform should be open, it should be integrated, it should be global. So that means it's not just in the UK, but also in China, India, Russia, Europe, Australia, everywhere. And it's all about people. So they're connecting the different people, the researchers, the professors, librarians, students. So they're actually connecting different people, different stakeholders involved. And it's about the knowledge of chemistry. So they're trying to actually bring in that sense of the knowledge element. That's the key, that holds the key, because this is an organization which is very, very old. They've got huge amounts of, they're sitting on huge piles of data, knowledge, and repositories. So they want to actually bring that and offer that as a platform to all these people around the world, so they can get to using their tools, their technologies, and collaborate. So if you see that, that's the way they actually put their vision. So this is again something which I did, understanding what is it that they want to do with this, right? So this comes up. So you might actually get a doubt that who gives you the vision, or what is the basis for the vision? How do you get the vision? So the people who want to do something are the people who've got the vision, right? So you talk about, again, this is another way of representing that I did. So open access, it's another slightly deeper version of that, of the one before. So you're talking about people, data, services, platforms. So how can you actually kind of integrate all of these different elements, aspects? So the vision could be about people, it could be about technologies, it could be about what they do. So again, Uber, it came up with a alternative way of transport where you don't have to really call the taxi or book the taxi or things like that. You can, it's within your own vicinity, it's easier, right? So the way, again, Uber came up with is a different concept. Amazon similarly, trying to have no inventory at all for your product, but you can still sell. So all of these are trying to actually come up with their own ways of defining their market, their product, and then approaching that. So that's where it all starts, a single idea and a concept.